Hello everyone, this is Chad at REDtone Studio with a brand new microphone shootout. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I've got some new mics here recently and I'd like to better understand how they stack up with the rest of my mic locker. Today we are putting together the two most expensive mics currently here at REDtone Studio. The Warm Audio WA-47 II microphone and the AKG C414 XLII. So let's get into it. First up is the Warm WA-47 large diaphragm condenser microphone. This is the one that I most recently got from a local studio, offloading some unused gear that I hope that I got for a steal. I'll let you be the judge. It came with a flight case, and inside was a microphone, the power supply, shock mount, and the special cable. This WA-47 is a clone of the U-47 from either Neumann or Telefunken, but at about 10% of the price. So at around $1,000 new, or like $650 used like I got this one here, it puts it at a price point that a normal guy like me can acquire. Of course, I'd love to have a U-47 here to do a shootout with, but I will find much more value in comparing the mics that I already have and have a hope of obtaining. Anyways, as I mentioned, the WA-47 came with an outboard power supply, which is usually needed to power the tube inside the mic itself. On this one, the light bulb is burned out, so it is hard for me to tell that it's on and if it's working sometimes. I think it blew when I left it on overnight at one point, and the bright blue light just wasn't enough to do its job because I didn't notice it. So anyway, it ended itself a little bit prematurely. Also on the power supply is the polar pattern selection. Now don't ask me how turning the knob down here adjusts at the mic at the other end of the cable, but it does. I'm going to leave the knob straight up and down for this shootout in the cardioid position for most. Now that is except for the drum room test where we'll go to Omni. Also mentioned is this special 5-pin cable that goes from the power supply to the mic. This transfers audio and power for the tube. These pins are quite small, so you've got to be very careful not to bend them when connecting them. Now, the next mic in this showdown is the AKG C414 XLII. This mic I've had for a bit longer now, and you can check out other shootout videos here or on my channel somewhere. So I got this one as an open box return from AMS at a great deal. Again, right around $600. You may see a trend here where I'm always on the lookout for good deals. This is also a large diaphragm condenser mic, but without the tube like the Warm Audio mic that it's up against. We'll see how much that makes a difference when we get to the samples. Now this mic is the real deal, no clone here. It's been used on many classic recordings and is great for overheads, acoustics, and vocals. It is one of those good all-around mics that you can put on any source and it usually isn't too colored. It is also very versatile with the multiple buttons on the front and the back that adjust the polar pattern, high-pass roll-off, and a pad. In this shootout, we are going to be using the cardioid pattern with no pad and no high passing to get it again as close to the same as the WA-47. And then of course we'll switch it to Omni for that room mic portion of the video. Now, the rules for this shootout are simple. I'm going to run both of these mics through my real nice preamp from FMR Audio to give us the cleanest signal chain possible. This will then hit my interface, which is a QU16 from Allen & Heath, where we'll level match before going into Reaper. For each segment, I'll do my best to get the condenser diaphragms as close as possible to make changes in positioning be a small factor. I'll be recording each source at the same time and labeling them with either mic A or mic B. And then I'll have that big reveal at the end and also my thoughts. So stick around and watch for that. Now, alright, before you start listening to the samples, make sure that you like and subscribe below so I know you'd like to see more of this type of video and what I'm doing here is worthwhile to more than just me. So first up is spoken word, and then we'll get into baritone singing, because that's how I sing, acoustic guitar, outside kick, and finally drum room in Omni. So get your headphones on, or hopefully you're sitting in an acoustically treated control room. So here we go. Hello, this is Chad at REDtone Studio doing a mic shootout between the Warm Audio WA-47 and the AKG C414 XLII. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog while driving his 1982 Cutlass Supreme. You're the kind of trouble I want, and you're the kind of trouble I crave. The love you have for me, baby, will put me in the grave. You're the kind of trouble I want, and you're the kind of trouble I crave. The love you have for me, baby, will put me in the grave. Okay, I'm back. So, what did you think? Could you tell the difference? Which one did you like better on each source? Now the results are incoming, but before that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So mic A was the AKG C414 XLII, and mic B, of course, is the Warm Audio WA-47. Is that what you heard? Now which one did you like better? So let me know if you want to hear these on any other sources, and maybe I'll upload a short for it. In my humble opinion, the Warm Audio WA-47 was a little bit better on my voice. Now it was close. That was for both talking and singing. It had just slightly more warm, low end, so pun intended, that I was just looking for, and it seems to make my vocals have a crooner type sound right out of the gate. To me, the C414 had a mid-range bump that is good for cutting through the mix, but I find it's just a little bit harsh, and I'm pulling out ever so slightly amount of 3K. Now for the acoustic, this was a toss-up. I felt that the warm audio just had a little bit more on the bottom end that I was looking for. But on the other hand, the 414 is used all the time for acoustic and it sounds great. Now, as we move into the drums, it gets a little bit easier to distinguish the two, I think anyways. So for the kick, I felt that the warm audio really blew away the AKG C414. The C414 was really tight and maybe punchy, so that might be better for if that's what you're going for. I would use the kick in, so for the kick out, I'm looking for a more rounded sound, and I felt that the warm audio really added to the mix. So now when we put them in Omni and put them, about 6 feet or maybe 8 feet from the kick or the kick head, we are getting a much more rounded and room tone, and of course we're in Omni as well. And I could go either way. I felt that the warm again had a little bit more low end. It was picking up that kick just a little bit better. The cymbals weren't quite as harsh. I know my hi-hat sounds terrible, and I am not a drummer, but it is what it is. And the AKG, it was good, but it wasn't great. So, do you agree with my assessment? If you do, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one.